Hey y'all, today I decided to address an issue I've seen cropping up, which is why is there no polar opposite to the Jag? Why is there not a wrench that allows you to maintain a nest better, but set up slower? And honestly, on paper, that sounds great. It sounds fine. But when not on paper, in actual gameplay, it's not. Because, see, weapons aren't just whether you can do cool stuff with them, it's about how much fun you have while playing with them. Because, I mean, it's a game. You're supposed to have fun. And imagine yourself as an engineer bot. You set up your sentry at wherever the last point available is. You sit there whacking it, even though it doesn't need repairing, once it has been upgraded. And you sit there waiting for enemies. You can't move away from it, of course, because that might get it destroyed. That personally doesn't sound very fun to me. I don't know about you, but definitely not something you'd want to encourage in your players, since it doesn't allow them to see combat. It doesn't allow them to have much fun at all. And I believe that's the reason Valve has not implemented a wrench like this. But there are certain weapons that miss the train of dynamism and fun that was the gunmetal update, and are still resigned to defensive, boring roles. Keep in mind that I say defensive as something that is not inherently tied to boring. A defensive role can be fun so long as it's active and dynamic. This brass beast here, this thing, you're encouraged to stay back out of the fighting and stay spun up for anyone that happens to break through your defensive hold. So you're kind of like a last resort. On the other hand, all the other miniguns, even the Natasha, are much better for actual fighting and active frontline combat. So if you're using the Brass Beast, you're basically resigning yourself to this role. It's not even as good as a normal minigun when it comes to attacking. So you're basically just a sentry. You're playing as a sentry. Difference is, sentries don't need to have fun. You do, because you're playing a video game. And then the other example is the Scottish Resistance. It's still interesting to me because I like to bait people into my sticky bomb traps. It's very fun. Feels like I've outsmarted them. But this weapon is not, that's not the only way you're supposed to play it, and it isn't even really designed for that in particular, as any other sticky bomb launcher could probably do just as good a job. When I play with this weapon, I find myself kind of just sitting there on the control point, watching 2 or 3 groups of stickies alternately to see if anyone walks on top of them, and then detonating them if they do. That doesn't sound that fun, honestly. I mean, it's kind of boring. I am crippling my damage potential, my direct damage potential, by just sitting there and not being able to partake in combat with the most damaging source of the most damaging thing in the game, pretty much, which is the sticky launcher. So, that's the Scottish Resistance for you. That's pretty much it for today. Can you think of any more weapons like this that you would like me to talk about? I would love to, because I enjoy complaining about weapons. I appreciate your watching. See you next time.